Sausage.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. So after playing and being so pleasantly surprised by Road Redemption, which if you've not already watched the episode on that game, you should, because it was, as I just said, a pleasant surprise. I said, you know what? I should just play that other game that was right next to it in my Attack the Backlog shortlist that looked very similar to a Road Rash-esque game by the name of Road Rage, and it gets one thing right in its title, The Rage. Road Rage is a steaming pile of shit, and it was a miserable time. I played it for 4 hours straight, then I played a little bit more of it, and I hate myself. I completed the game, I beat the whole thing, and it is just an absolute mess. It, instead of, and I don't know if it was trying to be an inspiration or inspired by Road Rash in the way that Road Redemption clearly is a spiritual successor, an inspiration of that. But Road Rash instead tries to be more than just a game where you're partaking in races or very simple missions where in addition to doing your traditional racing, you are also trying to smack your opponents off their bikes with a weapon or with a bit of close quarters combat and of some vein, grabbing them, maybe attaching some C4 to them, which is always fun. No, instead, Road Rage decides to try and be more with an incomprehensible story of nonsense and horrible voice acting that has so many different types of accents all over the place, including an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonator that sounds terrible. And it's all delivered via these texts after you complete the last mission that are very annoying. At any time you do a side mission and not the next main mission, when you finish that side mission, that extra little thing you can do while you're just casually driving around this open world area, you'll get the same text message back at you trying to remind you to push you forward and just, hey, keep playing this. Don't forget about this. But it's just a mess. It feels terrible. It's structured awfully. You have this open world that is broken up into a handful of territories, I think maybe 7 in total, and you unlock them over the course of the campaign. But the open world nature of the game is just stupid because it serves no purpose other than I don't know what. There's nothing to do in the world. There's a singular collectible to find in each territory, each region, each sub. But other than that, there's no point for it to be open world. There's nothing to do. You can go around smashing civilians with one of your weapons. That's it. And there's an achievement tied to that. Well, there's 3. There's one for smashing 50, one for smashing, I think, 500, and then 1,000. Except I don't know if it was ever confirmed or not that you have to do all of that in a singular session. But that is the main achievements. Those are the main achievements I have left, which I am pondering whether I hate myself enough to do that or not. So I can 1,000 achievement the game and be like, yeah, look what I did, Ma. I'm accomplished now. But it's awful. The races are either a regular race, a race where you're supposed to take down a number of opponents during the race, or an assassination mission where you have designated targets that are scattered, sometimes usually in a small clump that are relatively close to where you start, but in the later levels, the later missions, they scatter them across the entire map, which becomes annoying. And in those, you have a select number of targets and you have to take out a few of them. Usually not all of them, but sometimes all of them. And then they also have point-to-point type races where in some cases you just have to get to the end goal. And in other cases you have to get to that end goal and then return to where you started. Those can be annoying. And then I guess the other final mission, or maybe there's some other ones that I'm forgetting because this game fucking sucks, are ones where you have to avoid the cops. So the cops will be on you like a Grand Theft Auto game. You have your stars, and then you're trying to avoid them and gradually have the stars go away and be clear of them for 30 seconds to complete your mission. In addition to the open world and the story and missions, you also can purchase new bikes and upgrade them. The upgrade system is weird because you have all these upgrades, but there becomes a point on every bike where one upgrade just won't do anything anymore. You'll fill out the stat it improves because there are a handful of improvements you can do to any bike, and each improvement will upgrade 1 or 2 stats. And once you've upgraded a stat to the max, that upgrade is pointless, but you can still do it anyway. And there's an achievement, I think, for fully upgrading a bike, so you're gonna have to do that on one bike, just waste money. And then you can purchase different weapons that I think in no way are different outside of the speed of their animation. I don't think any of them do additional damage because there doesn't seem to be any kind of damage. Well, there are hit points associated to your bike, but I don't really know how that works. It's not super clear how that all works. And then as you play through the campaign and also do some side missions, you'll unlock additional drivers that you can play as. It's just the most unfun, janky mess of a thing that is slightly amusing by some of the over-the-top physics that are intentional, I'd say, with the ridiculous way in which civilians go flying when you hit them with one of your melee weapons. The game slows down to really emphasize it, but there are times where I am driving and I tap a car and then fall on my side and explode. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? What is this? Absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And there are other times where I can drive through geometry, nothing happens, or I get into a severe crash or I hit something really hard and I just kind of bounce off it. So there's no consistency there. It's just, it was a very bad experience. It doesn't play well. The combat in it is so weird because the way it works is that you can attack to either side with the X and circle button, I think. And how it works, though, is that instead of it just being some kind of free attacking that you do when an opponent, a fellow racer, is near you, when you are close enough to another racer, you'll see the X button, and I'm playing on Xbox, pop up above their head. And when you press it, you then engage in this kind of lock-on thing where it will attach you to that driver. And if you are far behind them, but you got just within range of the lock-on window, it will zoom you to them so that you are next to each other, and then you battle there. So it locks you onto them, so you're basically attached to one another, and whoever ends up knocking the other one off their bike wins out and gets to continue racing. It's a really weird system. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It's not satisfying. It's just a mess of a game that tries to do too much, be too much, when something like Road Redemption knew what it needed to do, knew what it was going for, and didn't try and be overly ambitious. Road Rage as an idea is something that maybe could work with a bigger studio. Maybe back in the day when they made Burnout Paradise, Criterion could have also made something akin to this work, but this is clearly a studio biting off more than they could chew, because it's just a mess of so much that doesn't need to be there. The terrible story, the weird all over the place voice acting, horrible gameplay, this open world type structure that doesn't really offer anything other than making it tedious, so that there will be instances where you are doing these, especially later on in the game, you are doing these point to point missions where instead of having to go to a point and then come back to where you started, you just go there and the race is ended, but it takes you to the opposite end of the map where you then, after completing the race, have to drive all the way back to where you were so that you can continue with the campaign, because there's no fast travel in this, but you have to drive all the way back, and it's so fucking tedious. There's also some annoyance with some of the structure of the map and how frustrating it is to navigate the world with some of the highways and multiple levels of the road, which made me have to go into the map more often than I would like during races, which I am not against having to reference the map a lot in certain types of games, but in racing games, I don't want to have to constantly take myself out of a race, whether it be a race against other opponents or a singular time trial race, whatever. I don't like having to constantly take myself out of the race so that I know where I have to go. Because in those point-to-point type of races where you have to reach an end goal, you're not given a path. You're not given a specific route to take. You're given this open world and have to figure out the best route for you. My nose is itching like crazy. What is going on? My nose is saying, enough of this game. We don't need to talk about it anymore because this game sucks. And that's all that needs to be said. Road Rage sucks. Road Redemption is great. Just play Road Redemption. I played Road Rage so you don't have to. The music is also terrible, as is my nose. So, I don't know. Don't play Road Rage. It's not good. And it's not even worth it if you're an achievement or trophy hunter. It's just an absolute nightmare of a game. Super frustrating. Some of the later races are... Nose is itching. It's bad, all right? It's bad. This itching is bad. That's it. So, once again, that'll do it. That'll do it. Blah, 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 blah. For this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, the occasional watch party, some fancy Discord roles, a private Discord channel, and random drops on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier, of course. Or you could just support me to support me. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, the Twitch, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye, bye. It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time.